Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Governor Peter Ipatas, Mr. Gainim, Ms. Jenny Nindil, guests, principals, teachers, parents, and young leaders of the nation who are representing their schools to participate in the school debate competition this year in Enga, and also viewers of Kundu 2. We are excited to be here in Sete Abal Secondary for the IBS school debate competition in Enga province with the aim of developing young leaders of our nation and also schools to foster relationship with schools and individuals as well. So that's the main aim of the IBS school debate competition. I am Vani Nadis Davis, who will be your chairlady for IBS school debate competition, Enga debate. And now welcome the principal of Sete Abel Secondary, Mrs. Kisem Taren, to give her welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. As the principal of the hosting school, it's my pride and honor to welcome every one of you this morning. A special welcome to the IBS people who are responsible for sponsoring this debate. This is the first ever debate, and I believe it's a new day dawning for the children of Enga. Thanks to Kundu 2, I welcome you. Thanks to all the schools in the province, the principals, the head teachers, students. Thanks to the PHQ staff, Robert Ganin, Director Education, and a very special welcome to our father and our leader, Honorable Governor Peter Ipatas. This is a positive, another positive approach that the provincial government under the leadership of Peter Ipatas has taken. You know, behind every good and positive work, never forget, there's a mighty leader. And I'd like you all to give him a very big clap. Governor, thank you very much. We salute you for everything that you are putting in towards the future leaders of this country. May God bless you in your endeavors. Once again, a deep thank you on behalf of every parent, student, teacher, on what you are doing for our future leaders of this country. With that, again, a warm welcome to every one of you. Enjoy this day. It's a great experience and a very new feeling for me. And I'm very thankful that the IBS people, together with the governor, has taken this initiative to do something new again for this province. Thanks once more. Enjoy the day.
Thank you, Mrs. Kisamtare, principal of Sete Abel Secondary. I would like to now call upon our Honorable Governor Peter Ipatas for his official remarks and declaring the Enga debate open.
Firstly, on behalf of the Enga provincial government and the people of Enga, I want to take this opportunity, firstly, to welcome the team from IBS and Kundu 2 to Enga province. I think it's appropriate that we give them a welcoming clap. Whilst welcoming them, I want to also thank Vani and the team for actually accepting Enga to be part of the school debating concept in the country. I think we can give them another clap. They deserve a clap. Of course, today I realized that all the principals of the secondary schools are here with the teachers, the high school headmasters with the teachers, and of course the participating students, Mr. Ganim, and all the officials from the education division here in Inga, and more importantly, the adjudicators. I can see them all ready to adjudicate this very important event. Special acknowledgement to all the students. I believe that you are all here because you support the concept, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. Huh? Good, thank you. Today I am honored and proud to stand here to address my children of Enga province. Enga is proud to participate for the first time in this IBS school debate competition. It has been my vision to educate the people of Enga through education. Such competition like this is ideal to enhance and motivate the kids to think proactively and to positively to make a difference. We share the vision of the IBS school debate competition that is developing young leaders of our nation. We take pride and ownership to educate and develop our young kids to be better leaders of this nation. And this is one avenue of getting our kids to involve in such academic competition for development. Debate is a skill. Every discussion we make has two sides of the coin. We need to analyze and to look at the objectives, to disagree or agree. In addition, it displays the potential and talents of our very young leaders. Debate also displays quality of schools' teaching standards. Investing in our young kids is the way forward to run this nation in whatever careers they may pursue. As your governor, I want to encourage the kids to take ownership and challenge yourself to do better, to lift the image of yourself, school, family, and most importantly, your province of Enga. I wish all the participating schools all the best, and may the best team win. I now declare the IBS school debate competition in Enga officially open. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce to you our adjudicators I think they'll be with us for the next 3 days, and I'm sure that you guys are going to give them a hard time. So let me introduce the adjudicators. Mr. Basil Murian, the Senior Secondary School Inspector for Enga. The second adjudicator is all the way from Port Moresby, and he's been traveling with us since. And he is one of the pioneers of the IBS school debate competition since 2009. And he's the executive director and founder of Weekend PNG, an organization that mobilizes, motivates, and encourages patriotic Papua New Guineans to believe in themselves to be competitive in the global community. And he's a very strong believer in developing you kids as well. So round of applause for Mr. John Iko. And we have the third adjudicator, Mr. Mickey Martin, Primary School Inspector for Enga. So round of applause for Mr. Mickey Martin. And our last adjudicator is Ms. Monica Emeline. She's the Provincial Superintendent Reform for Enga. So round of applause for Ms. Monica Emeline. And of course, our timekeeper for today, and of course for the next 3 days, Mr. Paul Andrew, and he's one of the officers of the Education Department in Enga. So round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, and viewers of Kundu 2, IBS School Debate Competition is proudly brought to you by our partners, Kundu 2, NBC, and New Guinea, our official carrier, and major sponsors, Ipatas Foundation, Honorable Governor Peter Ipatas, NCDC, LNA Group of Companies, Office of Climate Change, Electoral Commission, Brian Bell, NASFAN, and also Honorable Luto Wenge for the lay debate. And thank you to Sete Abal for hosting the Enga School Debate Competition. So a round of applause for everyone. The first contest is between Sete Abal Secondary and Pausa Secondary. If I can call them to make their way to stage. The two schools topic debate for today is state should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. Sete Abal Secondary going for the topic and Pausa Secondary going against the topic. Let me now introduce to you the team of Sete Abal Secondary. The first speaker for Sete Abal Secondary is Loretta Ephraim. She's 18 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a doctor in future. And the second speaker of Sete Abal Secondary is Douglas Pilato, 19 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be an aircraft engineer in future. Our third speaker for Sete Abal Secondary is Sandra Simon, age 19, grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a doctor in future. And the last and final speaker of Sete Abal Secondary is Nathan Morley, 20 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a mining engineer. So a round of applause for the Sete Abal Secondary. Going for the topic, state should claim total ownership of land in PNG. Introducing the team for Pausa Secondary. The first speaker of Pausa Secondary is Alex Kambao, 19 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a lawyer in future. And second speaker of Pausa Secondary is Josephine Dian, 22 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be an economist in future as well. The third speaker of Pausa is Stephen Tayap, 20 years of age, from Enga, in grade 12, and would like to be an HR management. And the last speaker of Pausa Secondary is Evelyn Topa. She's 19 years of age, in grade 11, from East New Britain, and would like to be a doctor in future. So a round of applause for the Pausa Secondary team. I would like to now call upon the participants, the schools, to shake hands and take their stage. Sorry, take your seats. Are we ready? Enga province, are we ready? Yes! Let the competition begin. The topic for debate today is state should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. Sete Abal Secondary going for the topic and Pausa Secondary going against the topic. Let me now introduce the first speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, Loretta Ephraim.
Thank you, Chair Lady. I would like to take this time to acknowledge the presence of the wise educators, the faithful timekeepers, participating schools, and not forgetting you, the lovely audience and the viewers right across the country. Okay, we, the affirmative team, go for the topic and say that state should claim total land ownership in Papua New Guinea. Okay, I have to get you to understand the concept of the topic. We'll define the topic first, word by word. State means the government of the topic. Government means it is for the people, by the people, and it is the people. Okay, total means fully. Land means the surface area of the earth. Ownership means fully taking in charge or being responsible of something. Therefore, the government, with the affirmative team, says that the government should take full responsibility of full taking charge of the land in PNG. Okay. Since the development of the country, the land was restricted only for subsistence from where the production were only meant for families' consumption. That has affected the process of globalization. So many decisions like political, economical, and social, they were affected by the global communities like US, UK, and some other developed nations. Therefore, there has to be a transition in the land ownership. Why? Because the customary land is a barrier to economic, political, and social decision and development of the country. Okay, as the leading speaker of the team, I will be talking on the social aspect. The second speaker will talk about the political aspect. The third speaker will further elaborate and talk about the economical aspect. Finally, and the fourth speaker will strongly emphasize and give the team's summary and the recommendation of the topic being debated. Okay, to my points. First is inequality in living standard. Landowners should sign an agreement with the government and submit their land by implementing the law reform strategies for the government to plan for further development and infrastructure of the country's development and betterment. Minority of the resources only benefits from their land, while the rest of the majority are suffering from basic services like health, education, and so on. Therefore, as a country, as a democratic country, we have to apply the principles of applying the principles of democratic by participating in equality. We have to participate equally and give our land, submit our land to the government for they can have better plan, they can plan for the future's benefit. So we, as the country, we have to put all our resources together to compete against the global countries. Therefore, all the resources and hard work must put together to compete against the global community and improve the living standard of our well-being. So the country's wealth will be equally and fairly distributed to everyone. Therefore, the state should claim total land ownership in Papua New Guinea. The second and the final point is land dispute. When government want to commence a governmental service in a particular area, the work is to come to a halt or stop because of land dispute. The landowners, they want the land to be compensated before the application or implementing the services in that particular area. Therefore, for example, a place, district near Pogram Mine, Laiagam district last time, recently the two brothers were fighting for land, which creates a climate of corruption, burning down of governmental services, buildings were burned down. Therefore, to eliminate every problems, government should take or to claim total land ownership in Papua New Guinea. Therefore, we, the affirmative team, stand for the topic and say that land of Papua New Guinea must be claimed by the government of the state. Thank you.
Round of applause for the first speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, Loretta Ephraim. Let me now call upon the first speaker of Pausa Secondary, Alex Kambao, going against the topic, state should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, and the adjudicators, and the guests from institutions, different institutions, and the government. I'm the first, my name has already been mentioned, I'm the first speaker of the opposition side. And my first speaker will be speaking of the, I'm the first speaker speaking about the cultural ways of what? Before I further go on, I would start to rebut on what the government has said. State should not own this land because of so many reasons that has been going on. Because of developments that has been going on, developments are going on, and mines that are going on, and new things that are trying to be happening, they are not, they are not reliably coming straight because of the attitude system of this country. Countries should maintain this attitude system before talking about development system or giving the land to the state. Further elaborate on my first speaker, my second speaker will talk about the social issue of this land matter. Okay, my third speaker will talk about the political, economical issue, and my fourth speaker will talk about the political and democratic issue. Land, and straight to my topic, I have to explain you what land is. In the law, real aspect, land is very important to us, and land means that the hair that is from top to bottom, the land that is beneath us, what this covers, the houses, the fences, anything we have, that's land we have. And we have been staying on this land, and we have been getting the backbone and getting the strength of our land from as our backbone. And some communist countries or some socialist countries give their lands to the state and have some high demands of taxes and easy tax labor's payments. But this should be not on. This is a democratic country. People, some such organizations, individuals, Papua New Guineans must own their own land according to where they belong. Cultures, land means that land is our culture, where we come from. You cannot say, I come from this or wherever else. We say that land, if you want to say wherever you come from, you would say that land is where you come from, and you will call your place identity, and that is where your identity will be. And my first point is that land is very valuable to valuable to all of us individually throughout the country. Before our ancestors, the land has been valued by the ancestors, and they have been first settling there whenever they first settled there. And then in the highlands, you will be knowing that bloodshed and fighting has been going, not for any other things, but just for the land. And that is where we bury things, that is where we bury our relatives, that is where we come from, and that is where we will be. And when you are working in a place or somewhere, cities and towns, and once you are kicked out of that job, where else will you go? Well, you were given your word to lend to the state. No matter what, you will go to the land where you belong to. That's why I think my suggestion is that we could not give the land to the state so that we don't own it ourselves as the way it is. Thank you for your challenge, Mr. Mayor.
Round of applause for the first speaker of Pausa Secondary, Alex Kambao. You know that it takes courage and confidence to be out here on stage. So we should give a round of applause for them because they have that confidence and courage to be. It's a challenge, but I'm sure practice will make perfect, and this is what we do. So we must support what's here. Of course, the first three speakers, you have 5 minutes, and the last speaker, you have 10 minutes. Last minute before your final time, you will hear 1 bell, and on final time, you will hear double bell. So be mindful of the time. Okay, so let me now introduce to you the second speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, going for the topic, Douglas Pilato.
Thank you, the chairperson, the wise, honest timekeeper, the noble judges, the amazing floor, and not forgetting the attentive viewers around Papua New Guinea and the distinguished guest. Thank you. I, as the second speaker of the affirmative, as my first speaker, as the first speaker of the affirmative, as introduced already, I'm going to go for the topic stating that states should claim total land ownership of the land. Okay, before going on to my points, I would like to give a few rebuttals on what the first speaker of the opposition have mentioned something. Okay, he said something about attitude, identity. The government is for the people, by the people, of the people, and government is the people. You have elected the government into the parliament, and the parliament will not accommodate all the 6.5 billion, so you have put your representatives in there. And how can those representatives spoil your identity? You must have to know that. You must know that your identity will be there, but the land needs to be cultivated, the land needs to be exploited to its full potential. So your identity will be there. Like getting examples from the other countries, their identities are still there. When you ask them where they come from, they will tell you, I come from this state, there and there. So your identity will be there. Nothing that the government will bring to affect your identity. That's on there. Okay, going to my point. There is a great aspiration or a great need for a change in the land ownership of the land, Why? Because there's, the land ownership, customary land ownership has been a great barrier in the growth of this country, growth in terms of political growth and infrastructural development of this country. Okay, taking you back to history, since 1975, 37 years from now, the pace of development has been very slow with little change we have seen. The changes that you and I are seeing today is not enough compared to how rich our country is with the natural resources that are booming everywhere. Land has been the major obstacle for strategical planning policies for development purposes in our country. Okay, compare us with other countries. You see, countries like Malaysia, countries like India, it doesn't have any resource in it. But where countries that the government owns the land, you see that they have prospered, they have succeeded in every aspect of life. So I want us to face the challenges that are coming, open up to the new changes, like the change now I'm talking about, and adapt to the globalized society. Okay, according to Vision 2050 states that the total land mass of Papua New Guinea is 461,690 square kilometers. Okay, but it has come to an acknowledgement that only 3% of that land is owned by the government, and it's very poor. And 97% of that land is owned by the so-called landowners, you see? So, knowing that, having that in mind, it is a difficult task for the government to achieve Vision 2050. And according to the 2009 Students' Resource Material, almost all of the 97% of the land that is owned by the people, they are not registered with the government. And you see, that is creating another problem for development, for government to bring development service. Why I'm saying that? Because when government wants to bring development services, there will be all kinds of unnecessary compensation claims will be made, like we are experiencing now. You know our PNG mentality. So that is that. And to conclude, development, land has been an hindrance to the development of our country. So there is a need for development in our country. We must not be stubborn. We must not be afraid. We must not resist that change. We must take all of it for the benefit of the 6.5 million population of PNG, not for the landowners, not for me, not for you, but for the 6.5 billion. So I want to support my government by saying that government should take total land ownership of the land. By doing that, we will be on the top of the map in terms of development and achieve Vision 2050. Thank you very much.
Round of applause for the second speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, Douglas Pilato, going for the topic. Are we learning something? Yes, I am too. Interesting. Let me now introduce to you our second speaker of Pausa Secondary, going against the topic, state should claim total ownership of land in PNG, Josephine Diane.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good day, the adjudicators, government officials, and not forgetting the smiling floors. Before I proceed on with my speech, first of all, I would like to rebut on what the second speaker of the government side have said. He mentioned something about other countries being developed higher than us. Well, it's true, but I think Papua New Guinea should not be imitated. So we should not be a photocopy of other countries. We are a country of our own. We should not be a photocopy of another country. We are the origin. To my point, when government claim total land ownership of Papua New Guinea, there are land disputes being arised because of government involved in that. So if our generations, our forefathers, our brothers, cousins, uncles are dying because of land disputes, then why are you trying to give your land to the government if they are fighting for that piece of land? So therefore, we should not give our land to our government. And two, it's regarding environmental implication. When the government is in full control of our land, then it will make all sorts of decisions by its own wish. It will implement all sorts of development, thinking that we are there to benefit from the developments. But this development, I can tell you, these are short-term developments. But the problem that you will face is long-term problems. That will exist where you are now at this very moment, and your offspring will face that problem, and their offspring will face that problem. That's the ongoing process, a problem that is coming up when government implement development such as letting companies to do mining, forestry, all these things. This will bring social problems. Example like criminal activities will arise. People of that land, particular land, will fight for their land royalties, and all sorts of things will pop out just because what we are trying to give our precious land to the government. Three, the land that we are talking about is the origin of us, is where we come from, is where our umbilical cord is buried. So, being Papua New Guinean, we should not give our land to the government, because we individuals own the land. It's not a property that you can trade. It's the land, it's life that we are talking about. So, being Papua New Guinean, each and every one of you, don't ever bear in mind that land is something that is to do with money or economics term. It is outside the business term. It is totally outside. It is not to do with the economics term. 4 is regarding our attitudes. If we are to change our land and make Papua New Guinea one of the prosperous countries, then we should have to change our attitude. This one will change. Because of Papua New Guinean citizens are becoming attitude problems, we are facing all sorts of ups and downs. So, once again, don't ever think of giving our precious land to the government. They will spoil us and they will implement some sort of long-term problems in our living. So, I strongly make a remark that Papua New Guinea government should not claim total land ownership in Papua New Guinea. That's all, and thank you for your consent.
Round of applause for the second speaker, and Pausa Secondary, Josephine Dia. Wow, aren't we witnessing great potential in these kids? Brilliant, hey. Passionate about the topic. That's what we call passion. We love our country. Right, the third speaker of Sete Abal Secondary going for the topic, state should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. Sandra Simon.
Thank you, the chairperson, the timekeeper, adjudicators, the honorable floor, and of course the viewers watching across the nation. Okay, as the first speaker of the affirmative, as already introduced, I'm the third speaker, and I'm going to talk about the economical aspects. Before I go into my point, I'd like to make few rebuttals on what the second speaker of the opposition has said. She said something about we have to change, we have an attitude problem, and that attitude problem, you have to change it by giving your land to the state so that you will benefit from it. Okay. Secondly, okay, she said that we're going to give our precious land to the government. Well, that doesn't mean that the government will own the land fully. The government you will register your land, the government will market your land, and you will benefit from that land in long terms. Okay, to my points. I have 3 points, and firstly, barriers to economic growth and development. Like, for example, capitalism, government, and socialism, which has the same features of a democratic country, like USA. When we look at USA has a system where most of the land is owned by the state, and everyone living in USA has an equal right to a share of the country's wealth in terms of pensions. And all the resources in terms of land is owned by the state. And from this system, we found out that these countries are well developed with better living, high literacy rate, better housing, better services and infrastructures, and most of all, they influence other countries in terms of their world price and the value of their currency. And when you compare this system with PNG, where most of the customary land rights are protected, and this acts as a barrier for growth, economic growth and development. Okay, secondly, land mobilization, transition of customary land to a property. When you look at the business point of view, land is an asset with no value. It is not a property. It is outside the modern sector. And most of the population, like Enga province, we are isolated from mainstream development because of customary land rights are being protected. So in order for us to be involved in the mainstream economy, we have to make a transition or a change from being a masters of a domain to being communal property owners. Okay, thirdly and finally, land reform to achieve Vision 2050. According to Vision 2050, 2009, page 11, it is stated that with the inclusion of land implementation, the country's economy can grow by an additional 1.2% if some 3% of the land, customary land, is brought into production. And just imagine, the country's economy can grow by just 3% of the land, customary land being brought into production. What if we give 50% of our land to the state, I know that definitely we will be the richest and the wealthiest country in the world. We are the richest island nation in the world in terms of natural resources. We are an island of gold floating on a sea of oil. So the only change that we have to make is give our land to the states so that we could benefit from it. Therefore, we, the affirmative, strongly and firmly go for the topic by saying that yes, the state should claim total ownership over the land in PNG. Thank you.
Round of applause for the third speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, Sandra Simon. Let me now introduce to you our third speaker for Pausa Secondary, going against the topic, state should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. Stephen Tyap.
Good morning, Master of Ceremony, and the guests, and of course the government representatives. Before I proceed on my topic, on my points, firstly I will have to rebut the third speaker of the government has said. First speaker of the government has said that 3% of the land has been owned by the state. But the 1% is given to the landowners, royalty, example like the Poker gold mine. You see, 3% is owned by the government, but in the extraction of the natural resource, the 1% is given to the landowners. You see, that is the point that I'm reminding that. Okay. Another one, now I'm going to talk about my points. I'm going to talk about the economics. The economic activities are increasing and very high because of the destruction of the land and the environment. Okay. The third, the corruption rate is very high. Because of the corruption rate of the government, the land is not being fairly distributed by the landowners and the government. If we give the land to the government, how are we going to live? Are we going to become the nomadic people? Land is the place where God given us to sustain our life. And we should have to live in this land to prosper our life. So we must not have to give land to the government. Once we give the land to the government, they will bring in some developers to extract every resource that we have, and we will be left with nothing, you see. And we will suffer in the long term. Short term, the government said it's okay, but in the long run, we will be suffering. When the government brought in the companies and to extract the natural resource that we have, they only give 3% to the landowners. They should have to distribute equally to the landowners, government as well as the company. But 3% is only given to the landowners. So land should not be given to the government. Okay. Third point. PNG is a mixed economy. PNG is a mixed economy, and we should have to stay as we are. We should not invite the government or give land to the government to manage it. Because as we are living now, we are okay, still okay. As we face, now we are facing that corruption rate is very high. If we give the land to the government, we will not be getting benefit from the government because of the corruption rate. So we should not give the land to the government. The last point, people are living in living on the agriculture, and they are surviving agriculture alone, the Papua New Guinean especially. So we should have to maintain the agriculture system and live and then earn our living. So we should not give the land to the government. That's it.
Round of applause for the third speaker of Pausa Secondary, Stephen Tyab. Let me now introduce to you our last and final speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, going for the topic, States should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea, Nathan Mullin.
Thank you, the chair lady, the honest timekeeper, the wise adjudicators, and to you, all the flow. And not forgetting you, the viewers all around Papua New Guinea. First of all, the topic for the debate has been stated as states should claim total land ownership. As the affirmative side, let us all get into the same basket and prove the points raised by the opposing team as outrageously invalid. First of all, the first speaker said that as the most democratic country, we have the right to own land. We have the right to own land, and land has been part of our culture and tradition as a Melanesian society. As a matter of fact, that's true, but in the changing world currently, we need to face challenges, and we need to have changes. As you can see, countries like, as a democratic country, and he further elaborated and said that we don't need to be like a communist country or other socialist country which the lands are owned totally by the government. But we cannot be, we the government are trying to convey to you is that we are not trying to say that they will own, or we are trying to be like communists, but we are trying to put a bit of communist in, a bit of democratic principle, democratic governance, all sort of the governance in together for a betterment of this country. The second speaker said that if people are fighting over land, why are we allowing the government to own lands? Well, in order to solve your problem, we need to give our land to the government. By doing this, the government will fairly, with appropriate management, they will sell or market our land, and then we will benefit, and there will be no trouble fighting. And when the government own land, the people, the citizens, or the landowners, they won't think, or they will not have any land. They don't own any land, and they will not bother fighting. Is that true? For instance, country like Australia, most of the lands are owned by the state, and people are benefiting enormously from the benefits of these actions by their government. Now, the third speaker said that there should be equal distribution in the nation's wealth. For example, the landowners that are benefiting from the Porgera gold mine. It is not only the landowners should benefit, but we should be the wealth should be equally distributed. Well, in order to do that, the land should be given to the state so that there would be fair and equal distribution of the nation wealth, or the wealth that is created by our giant Porgera gold mine. Now, third speaker have also said that corruption rate is very high. As my first speaker have said that government is for the people, by the people, and is for the people. Okay, as a people, we need to participate. As a democratic country, we are guided by democratic principles. One of the principles is participation. And as a citizen, we need to be wise when we are electing leaders. We won't send all those 6.5 million population of Papua New Guinea into the House of Parliament to debate and raise issues. We are sending our leaders, and we need to send positive, good leaders into the parliaments. And that's up to you, the citizens, the landowners. Now, before I go onto my point, let me further re-emphasize more on what my fellow team members have said. They've raised points about political, social, and economical points. First of all, states should claim total ownership because the current problem is inequality in living standard. That's really true. Currently, the living standard is a bit biased. Because the state is not owning land. State is not owning land, and the land is owned by a certain group of people who are fortunate to be in some of the arable lands, who are fortunate to be in some of the places where there are minerals, and these people only are benefiting. Therefore, there is inequality in living standard. As stated in the Rural Development Handbook, more than 50% of the population is earning very low to low income and are not benefiting sufficiently from the incomes the country's wealth. Therefore, we the government side say that the state should claim total land ownership in order for equality in living standard. Well, the other issue is that it is a barrier to economic growth. That's really true. For instance, when the government do plans, strategic plans, and when they are trying to implement and bring it, and when they are trying to implement their plans, they bring it to the landowners. They will do their plans. They will develop the lands. Land is one of the most essential assets in terms of economy. But it is not an asset. It will be a dead capital if we don't make use of it. Therefore, instead of relaxing and nursing our backyards, our home, our garden, just planting sweet potatoes monthly, seasonally, we need to change from that mentality and try to think more modern. We need to utilize this land for commercial activities and to generate huge wealth for the country. Now, customary land has caused land dispute. That is the other cause. Because of land ownership, it has caused land dispute. As a result, it has resulted in tribal conflicts. For instance, up at Laiagam, there is a land mass the size of this auditorium where single family members have been living in that same area for many decades. And this land is becoming insufficient. It's decreasing as a result of increase in the population in the family members. As a result, blood brothers are dying. They are killing themselves. They want to own portion of the land that their fathers have left for them. But sadly, there is not enough land. Therefore, in order to prevent this kind of tribal conflicts and problems, we need to submit our land to the government so that they will carry out wise management so that all of us, even you, a landowner, if you are not a landowner, you will benefit equally. Well, as stated in the reform, and as stated in the Vision 2050 booklet, if we take land reform measures, for instance, land mobilization, social contract, etc., then we will see tangible developments in terms of its effects in the GDP of the country. As stated in the booklet, as my third speaker said, if only 3% of the land is given to the government or put into production, then we will face enormous benefits, especially with our GDP, the gross domestic product of the country. It is currently 7.5 billion kina, but if we put a 3%, just a minimum of 3% into production, then it will increase from 7.5% to 12.5%, which is an increase of 2.5 billion kina. And that's very enormous. And just imagine, as my third speaker said, if we, the 3%, if we extend this 3% to 5% of 20, more than 20%, we will receive a lot of blessings from this. And onto my recommendation, there should be a land mobilization program. Land mobilization program means the converting the customary land to a property owned, which means that the government is not going to own fully the land, but the landowners also will be benefiting. So this recommendation on land reform need to be, for instance, according to the Land Reform Incorporation Act, that is the social contract, that kind of reforms or land mobilization program should be undertaken. To conclude, we as the affirmative side indisputably stand firm on our topics, on our points raised and recommendation made that states should claim total land ownership in order to achieve or to fulfill the dreams that our forefathers have set. Thank you.
Round of applause for the final speaker of Sete Abal Secondary, Nathan Muli. The team going for the topic, states should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. Let me now introduce to you a final speaker for Pausa Secondary. Going against the topic, states should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea, Evelyn Topa.
Good morning, Sataybo Secondary School, the participating school, the educators, chairlady, and good morning, everybody watching all across the country. As the final and the fourth speaker of the opposition side, as the final and the fourth speaker of the opposition side, I am going to discuss and address and put forward some points about the issues that we are currently discussing. Now, before I go on with my discussing my points, I would like to rebut on what my colleague has said on the government side. Now, he said something about giving our land and 3% is owned by the customary, 97% is owned by the customary people, and 3% is owned by the government. All right, if the 3% is owned by the government, out of this 3% that the government has owned, 97% of the profit has been given to the government, only 3% are going back to the people. Now you tell me what's so fair about, what's so democratic about that? We give our land to the government. They can do whatever they please with it. When they buy the land, they purchase everything, what's on top of the land, what's on the land, what's under the land. That means that they will cut the trees, whatever river is flowing, they will purchase it and they will treat it. And instead of us drinking fresh water from our creek, we have to go to the store and purchase treated water. What's fair about that? And you talk to me, and you guys are talking about Papua New Guinea being a democratic country. Right, we are democratic people, huh? We have a freedom of speech. If you give our land to the government can do whatever they please with it. That means that we don't have any say in it. What's the democracy in that? We don't have any right to speak because we already gave the land to the government. They can do whatever they please with it. So you tell me what's the democratic in that? And the other thing is that you go up to Pogera, the Pogera landowners, they are scavengers. You see, they relocated them to another place where they are, when they relocated them down to the riverside, they are dumping the waste down there. How can they live with the waste, the chemicals? Just imagine. How can they live? Talking about this reform, you talk about this reform, registering the land to the government. There is conflict everywhere. Sorry. There is conflict everywhere. There is loopholes in every agreement. You're talking about memorandum of understanding and agreement. There's still conflict going on. We're still having court cases everywhere in Papua New Guinea right now. How about this LNG project out there? They're talking about registering the land. Sure, we registered. Now all the LNG landowners are down in Mosby right now waiting for their royalty payment, but the work is already out there. They promised that they're going to give the royalty payment before they start working, but already the work is there and the people are not paid yet. So where's the Democrat? We have the right to be heard, right? We're speaking our minds right here. And in Bougainville crisis, the main reason why the Bougainville people are fighting for the huge crisis that happened way back in 2002, you see, like, they fought because the government, the Panguna Mile, they destroyed the environment. They polluted every single thing, including the water. And because of that, they rebelled against the government. And because of that, 20,000 people died. And if you want your grandmother, your innocent uncles and aunties and cousins to die, you go ahead and give a land to the state. Now, to come back to my point, I've been talking about the political side of my opposition, stating that government should not claim total ownership of our land in Papua New Guinea. Again, this is a democratic country. We have the right to be heard. We give the land to the government. Nothing. We're just some nobody cares heading all over the country looking for a place to live. We will become like asylum seekers, going to other provinces, other places, looking for places to live because our land has already been given to the government. And they can do whatever they please with it. We are just nothing. We are nobody. Secondly, if we give our land to the government, they can do whatever. They can build mines, they can cut down all these trees. If we give this land and all these mountains to the government, we won't be able to enjoy the freshness of the air. We won't go down to Waralai down here and enjoy our fresh bath. We have to go and pay for swimming pool to go and wash there. You want to give it land, fine, give it. But you're going to do it at a very high price. Think about it. In a typical Papua New Guinean village, we survive on agricultural activities. Most of our students here, our parents work hard for our living here. We come here, our parents back at home, they're working the garden so that they can go to the market, sell stuff so that they can give us money to spend here. We cannot just come here and live on rice and, sorry, but we cannot come here and live on rice. We will grow tired of eating rice, yeah? And we need like cow, like this is our life. We were brought up with it. We need it in our lives. If we give it away, we are losing everything. We are losing our identity as Papua New Guineans. And to what my colleague has said, comparing ourselves to other countries like Australia and India and China. India and China, they gave their land to the government, but look at them. They are nobody. Most of them are living in the streets with nothing to do. You talk about Australians, they have a different attitude. Papua New Guinea, we are a place of diverse culture. You try and put Tari and the Sipi people together. You think they're going to live together? No, because they have a different attitude. It's like in Engenteng, we say that you cannot put dog and kaskas together, yeah? Because the dog can chase the kaskas. Exactly. You cannot take the Engents and you go and put them down in Sipik. Oh, sorry, this is going to be another thing going on down there. Now, to summarize what my colleagues have said, land is our culture and it is our identity. It's our place of origin. I say that I'm from Rabaul. Yeah, true. But if I'm from Rabaul and if I give my land to my government, I go back to the village. I will live at town. I don't have a village anymore because I already gave my land to the government. So what's the point of calling myself a Tolek when I don't have a place? What's the point of calling yourself an Engen when you gave your land to the government? You're just going to come and live in the town just like everybody else. Our ancestors claimed the land. They have spilled their blood on the land. Past generations from generations, we have fought for our land. This is our right. This is our identity. This is what makes us who we are. Tribal fight, yes, but think about it. Our ancestors, our Hengen ancestors, they fought for our land. And this is what makes us who we are. We are Hengens. Our land is our culture, again. You go to other provinces, they have, including Henga, they have their sacred place, their place of initiation. We give our land to them. Where is our culture in that? How can we maintain our culture? We already gave our land to the government. We are nothing. We're just nomadic people. We go, you see people in Mosby, all the Angans, all the Taris, all the Kanyas, everybody down there. Why? Because they don't have any place to live. They don't have any land back in their home. They call themselves the Hangers, they call themselves the Kanyas, but where are their place? They come to Mount Hagen, yeah, this is my place, but they don't have any village because they already gave their land to the government. And increased economic activity, yeah, but at a high price. Would you like to lose your identity as a Papua New Guinean just so the government could develop our place? Look at them. They have the Lihir gold mine down there, the Tabubi people up there, the Program mine, yeah, sure. But what about those other places? Huh? Those other... Gosh, stop it. What about those other rural areas that they cannot, the basic services are not provided to them? Land is given to the government and they have not done anything useful with it. The 3% have been given to the government, what have they done? Nothing. In the rural areas, there's no road to them. You have to walk hundreds of miles on foot to reach your home village. Do you want to do that? Continue doing that? You give your land to the government is just going to misuse it. They're not going to do anything with it. The 97% that they will get it and go and spend in other places, not Papua New Guinea. So I stand and I strongly believe that government should not take total ownership of our land in Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Round of applause for the final speaker of Pausa Secondary going against the topic. State should claim total ownership of land in PNG. Evelyn Topa. Are we all enjoying? Yes. That's good. It's wonderful, brilliant presentation, don't you think? Yes. Amazing, amazing talent. Round of applause for the two schools, Abal Secondary and Pausa Secondary. The topic debate is State should claim total ownership of land in Papua New Guinea. That brings us to the end of our first debate between the two schools. Brilliant presentation, excellent presentation. I'm sure we all have learned something, and it's all about development, passion. These kids have passion for the country, and I hope you guys will lead this nation. Thank you very much to the two schools. If I can ask you to shake hands, and then can go off the stage for the next competition.